And welcome to another CEO Wisdom podcast. We have Kapil Kulshreshtha with us today. That is Kulshreshtha. I'm trying to pronounce that one right. He is founder and CEO at Cinate Coaching, and we're gonna talk about a bunch of cool topics like growth, like being extraordinary and the habits that she needs to adopt to thrive in this tough job market. So, Kapil, welcome to the pod. Can you tell me a bit more about yourself and about your coaching business?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm really glad to be here, Charles. Thank you. Appreciate that. So I have worked for 22 years in corporate sector in my previous avatar, where I was one of the two founding members for Cognizant Australia way back in 2009. But I have had completely before that IT background. Companies like Microsoft, Cognizant played all these big roles, supposedly big roles. But by the time I was in my mid 40s, I had massive crisis about what do I do with my life? What's the point? What's the purpose? What's the meaning? And that led me to start my journey of weight loss, to leaving my job, to building a business, and to actually running it into ground almost before my wife joined it, and we turned it around. And now it's a high seven-figure business. So this is the kind of journey that I've had in last 7 years. Very interesting 7 years, and from that I have really learned a lot about my own life, about what it matters, and working with high performance individuals from all walks of life in the corporate world has also taught me lessons which are very unique, and I would love to share those with you as time permits.
And what's different with your coaching business from all these other coaches out there? Like, why should people hire you?
Yeah. So look, there's no easy question, but there are two parts to the question. Or rather, there's no easy answer. There are two parts to this question. Is that I look at coaching as
Kapil,
so
seems
it's not
that
really
I
competitive
lost you for
where
a moment.
actually compared to people service. Oh yeah, yeah,
Seems
certainly. Okay.
seems you're back now, but the
Can you hear me
connection
now?
is
Yeah.
bad.
Okay. So yeah. Oh, it shows your red. Your content connection is red.
Should be better now. It's yellow.
Are you okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So so essentially, there's no easy answer to this question. When I look at coaching, the way I have come to understand in all these years is that it's not a competitive thing. People actually sign up with you only because of their trust and respect and connection with you. That's the primary reason. Because it's impossible to compare two coaches. One of my other belief is that every single coaching session, no matter who you do it with, is going to provide some value. And you know, and given that context, it's not competitive. So that's my first answer, which is why should somebody consider me? If they find connections with me, they should consider me. If they don't, then they should not consider me. And there is a certain type of people that I typically attract. Those kind of people are my kind of people who have high energy, people who are driven to play full across all aspects of life, people who are honest about their failures and their issues and their challenges, and they are now willing to look into the mirror. I won't do very well with somebody who basically has got that kind of a chip on the shoulder. I won't do very well with somebody who basically thinks that they have to just solve tactical problems and strategic, and define their strategy. And I won't do very well with them. I do well with people who are willing to open their heart and completely open their heart. Um, so, and at the end of the day, like the second thing, which is very different about what I do, is that I have a very strong focus area. I help people caught up in the corporate world find their direction, which is 90% time within their corporate world. And me and my wife, my business partner, we both do this together. And when people work with us, they get like two for one. And the C, it's basically I have something called infinite game, where there's no limit to the amount of interaction that we have with people. So, and I guess it's very hard to replicate those kind of things. And then D, for about 4 years, slightly more than 4 years now, I have a program which is best in class, which about 750 plus people have gone through, which is a journey of 6 weeks towards transformation. And given the number of people who have gone through it, the kind of expertise we have, it's pretty unique. So yeah.
What is
And
good competition and what is toxic competition?
I'm sorry, what did you say about this?
What is good competition and what is toxic competition?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't spend much time thinking about competition. When I did the Gallup Strength Finder long back, competition came out to be number 33 as my strength. So I know I'm not competitive. Even when I worked in corporate world, which is dog eat dog world, I never gained anything by competition. I tried, but I always failed. So yeah, I don't worry about competition. But theoretically speaking, so my information there is completely theoretical. Theoretically speaking, good competition would probably be something which is where you are competing on value, and a bad competition will be a competition where you're competing on price.
That's a good answer. And why are you more the cooperative type? If we look at the individuals that are making humanity the better, it seems like, for example, Elon Musk, uh, at a micro level, they're not so cool to hang out with, but at a macro level, they develop massive value and they're really competitive. What do you have to say about these types of individuals that do have a chip on their shoulder, quote unquote?
Yeah, when I look at it, the chip on the shoulder doesn't mean that they are not accomplished individuals. They're extremely accomplished individuals. What I mean is that people who think that the solution to their problems is tactics and skills and little more of what they already do. I look at coaching like individuals as my own journey within myself, and I know that my journey within yourself is about constantly tapping into the unknown that I have got. So when people do not want to tap into their unknown and they want to stay with more of what they have, then these are not the kind of people who I service very well, because then you run into resistance. And as a coach, the moment you run into resistance, then it just becomes a challenge. And I, like everybody else, I want things which are a little bit easier from that perspective. That I want to work with people who are already swimming towards me, rather than swimming away or trying to basically stay in the water and say somehow somebody else will save me. So rather help people who are basically swimming towards me. That's what I mean by chip on the shoulder. By no
So,
means it means respect for anybody who has accomplished a lot.
so is your approach, for example, let's say that I'm really good at sales, you wouldn't focus on sales with me, but you might focus in another area of my life, such as relationship or health. Is that your approach?
Yes, and there is something else I add to that, which is that when we say that you're really good at something, there's always a level of like outstanding zone, like little more, and I would want to tap into that. But what I have understood and learned is that you can't tap into that zone unless other aspects of your life are actually playing well. So absolutely, the focus will be again, sales you can divide into multiple parts. Sales could be about connection, it could be about your service. Just 1 second. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My call came, so I had to get away. Sorry. Where were we? I know you'll have to edit it. I apologize.
Yeah, you were saying the life areas that you focus about. So let's say
Yeah,
that, yeah, I'm good at sales. You would possibly help me in other life areas.
correct. And also, if I look at like that's one part of it. Second part of it is that also if you look at the sales, there are smaller components of sales. There's a component about your mindset. There's a component about your service mindset. There's a component about your vision with the person, what you're trying to create. There's a component about just the sales skill to closing skill. So there could be still be things like it can't be like I'm good at sales. It doesn't mean that everything is phenomenal. There are areas which are always bubbling up and down, so you can take a look at those areas and those can be honed. And often The individual who's in the middle of it is not aware of it, because the very paradigm with which they think is the very paradigm that has to go through a change. So my focus is basically to look at that paradigm. I have a 5 level framework that basically is what I focus on. So if I were to like completely like if I were to put myself in a box, it will be like I work with people on their mindset. But there's a certain type of people that I like to work with, who are my kind of people, people who are where I was. And that's why corporate people end up becoming the most attractive character for me to work on. So yeah.
So your coaching package, let's say that I want to hire you. What do you charge? Is it packages? Is it hourly? And what KPIs do we work on?
Yeah, so I don't work with people on an hourly basis. I don't work with people on that way that let's do X number of sessions. I have something called infinite approach. So sure, I'll have a structured session with people, but then I'm going to be available for them forever. Like forever as in when they are my clients, and even beyond that, I'll be available. But coaching journey, I'm available for them. So, and the reason I do this is because that's what I want in my coach, and that's what I get in my coach. That I can reach out to my coach anytime, all the time. um, and what I've understood is a lot of coaches fear, like scared, they worry about it because it will limit their time. But what I've found is that is not the case at all. Like for instance, one of my clients ended up working 20 hours straight, and he sent me a note at 7:30 this morning that, can I talk to you? And I was like, yeah, let's talk. And in my 5 minutes conversation, I just calmed him down immediately. So when we do have our session on Wednesday, he'll be much, much more calmer about things which are going on. So that's what I feel about coaching. Coaching is that connection that people have with each other. And at times you do wear the whole hat of a mentor or educator or a coach or a friend. So that's the thing. So I don't like to work with people on an hourly basis and all of it and tactical. When I work with people, if they're part of my 6 week journey, then 6 week plus whatever support they need from forever. Or I work with people for a minimum of 6 months, because that's when you can create some results.
All right, and these packages, let's call 6 to 12K for this duration of time, and you help them live better lives and be more successful in their career, right?
100%, yeah, yeah.
What do you say to someone like me that thinks that all 9 to 5ers are going to be replaced with AIs, and there's only going to be entrepreneurs working on this planet Earth in less than 10 years?
Look, I don't know enough about it to really make an expert comment. I only have a perspective. You are definitely an expert on that. I believe that while AI is going to refine things, there are things which human beings need to do. From what little I understand, human brain is still about a million times more powerful if it just gets focused, and that's that uniqueness that we have cannot be replaced. Absolutely, a lot of current work will actually go away. Like for instance, one of the things I've heard from even the likes and best of the best Tony Robbins is that coaching will become an AI thing. It just can't be, because coaching is not about giving an advice. It's about helping people discover. And it's also not that, oh, there is a lot of people try to put a straight jacket onto it, that oh, in this particular case that's what you could do, and it's about questions. It's a lot about connection. And as long as human connections exist, that's nothing. The work is not getting replaced. I do feel that some of those fiction novel talk about that there'll be an AI partner that every individual will end up having, and that AI partner increases the processing power and tapping into things like anything and analysis analytical skill. But I believe humans being will stay. Jobs will get much more specialized. I would think, because generic tasks would be done by AI, and I believe that people should prepare for it. Um, Everybody should prepare for it. Yeah.
I read that you committed to Brendan Burchard's mastermind, and you've been flying from Sydney to LA since the past 6 months, and you still maintain a well-traveled life, and you're a family guy as well. How do you balance it all together?
So all of it happens. We do because we do this primarily together. Me and my wife, we do this together. We just came back from US after a month. So we do this together, and and November we are again going. So when you do this together, it becomes a part of life. And also, my girls are older, like they're 22 and about to be 19, so they have their own independent lifestyle. So I'm able to do everything that I want to do. More than anything else, I look at it. I heard that from Ed Milet, that the worst thing a parent can do, like, what is the there's a kind of child abuse that goes unnoticed, that there's a kind of child abuse that when one of the parents in the family do not operate at their level of effectiveness or something like that, or one of the parents in the family do not live their life based on their own purpose and meaning. So it's like, children follow your example. They don't hear what you say to them. So it takes whatever it takes.
What's your secret to being a good dad and being a good husband?
Okay, so I would first say good husband, because I'm a better husband than a good dad. I think I'm a good dad, but I'm not a great dad. I think there's so much more to improve. Being a good husband is really considering that my partner is the center of my universe. Um, you know, and and it also doesn't mean that I don't fight with her and all, and we don't fight each other. We obviously do fight each other a lot, but we look at it like, I'm very quick to apologize. So I'm very quick to look at myself. So after an argument, literally within like few minutes, I'm thinking, what could I do? What did I do wrong? That's it. And being a good dad, I would like to be much better. I would like to be a lot better, lot better. But I think our family has deep connections with each other, because the communication is there, because the respect is there. Most important thing is that, quite a long time back, we did convey this to our girls, that they are actually their owner of their own life, and we are conduit and we're enablers. So our girls have made their own choice, including my younger daughter planning to, like, she planned to drop out of year 11, and after year 11 she dropped out of school, and she split the school into two parts. And that experience has made her travel with us across the world and gain experience which is extraordinary. So really letting them fly, and knowing that these are little humans who we are not responsible for them, we're just an enabler, has really helped us become good parents. We didn't have teenage dramas in our house ever. Like, both the girls are pretty much out of teenage. Now, the gap in terms of great dad is always the thing that spending more time with them, especially with my older daughter, spending more time with them, you know, building shared vision of life with both of them, because that's what I think families are built on. If you have shared vision, it's amazing. Building more shared vision and shared experiences is an improvement need there, and I hope to continue to do better and better at that. And we have a lot of time together, so there's no issue.
What has been some of your best knowledge extracts from reading all these books and traveling so much?
Wow, that's a great question. So there's a lot. I think one of my best, I'll have to just say it and let it come. And it's, I think everybody in the ages have said this multiple times, and I don't have a special wow kind of thing about it. What I've learned is that people are people everywhere. Indians, because I'm from India, we tend to call everybody else very racist in nature. But getting in touch with the racist inside me, where I'm constantly judging, is like a wow. And what I've found is that anytime, without exception, you talk to people, oh my gosh, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. My daughter, younger one, went to Europe after she turned 18, and on the New Year Eve, she and her friend spent time talking to people on the side of the road, the homeless people. And she ended up talking to somebody who had a manslaughter case against that person, because somebody else was trying to sexually abuse this guy, and this guy pushed him and that person died. And she said that in the beginning, the reek of alcohol, like this guy was, and everything, I would have judged. But when I spoke to this person, She said, I kind of got this message that everybody has a message, everybody, every single person, and as long as they're giving their message out, they're great people. Now, however much it's cool, I know I'm going to find it very hard to sit next to a homeless person and bear that stench and everything. It's a very ideal thing to do, but that's what I'm discovering more and more, that it's more about love, connection. That is one. I think the other one which I'm starting to, which I'm not starting to, is that it's really about that every human being has this thing about three A's. One is aliveness. Everybody wants to feel alive, no matter what is going on. We want to feel alive. Even through the bad times, what we're trying to do is to work through this to be alive. That's one. And second is ascension, which is status is going up. And it doesn't necessarily mean monetary perspective. It just means that we are all trying to increase our status. And I used to think it's compared to other people, but then I've since then given up this thought. I think it's basically standing out. It's like making a difference. It's the ascension. And third is abundance, that we all are chasing our own definition of abundance of all kind. So that's what it is. And underlying these three A's is awareness. So what I've come to realize is that the more I'm aware of myself, my stupidities, my nonsenses, my mistakes, and my problems, which is just so many of them, the better it becomes. And whatever goals and vision and things I want, they would have more meaning if I'm becoming more present. I recently went to Peru and did an ayahuasca ceremony there, and it was a very eye-opening experience. And I did it because I was somehow falling out of love with what I was doing and feeling disconnected with that, and it was very disquieting. Because outside I always have to say that I love it, but inside I'm like, is it? And I got back in touch with that myself, and I found their lifestyle to be so simple, but they're in their own way, they're doing the same thing. Ascension, so abundance, ascension, and aliveness through awareness.
These retreats, I had my wedding a week ago, and I consider that a retreat after long periods of work. Life is most of the time throughout seasons, and some lessons take way longer to sink in. Sometimes it's also cycles of work and suffering and coming out of that on the other side. Um, I don't think I had like a blockage and flame extinction in my life, but what do you have to say about these retreats or ways that you can reanimate this flame? Because ayahuasca, it's funny that you mentioned that, because just today I had a friend ask me for a contact for ayahuasca, so I might ask about yours, although I already asked a bunch of people. And when we did ayahuasca, me and this friend together, it was great. It wasn't because we were at a low or something, but it was definitely really insightful. And these ceremonies, they're very hard. They're multiple days and they're very physical. So why make the use of this vs, I don't know, a meditation retreat, vs a solo retreat, just renting an Airbnb for 3 days and being yourself with a journal? What would you recommend to someone that has its flame shut down? Should they go directly for the Aya retreat, or should they go easier?
I believe that so all of these are important things. Somebody whose flames have shut down, I would never recommend meditation, because meditation can make people feel really down as well. So I would never recommendation to those people. I would recommend that they get help. That's the best thing. They could just go to a retreat or whatever, but in 3 days this doesn't go out, if it's unless it's like happened because of a particular incident like grief, that'll help. But otherwise, definitely they should get help. They should get a coach who can help them through that, because it's not one thing, it's a series of things that will help them get out of it. It's a series of little successes that's going to get them out of it. Like journaling is that series of successes, because you start observing what is great about your life, what is going good, what do you have gratitude for. Journaling is great, but in isolation, it will just become very monotonous. So you do it with a person who can actually hold your hand and not only get you out of it, but to tell you that some of those darkest moments of your life could end up becoming the best moment of your life.
Or would you go David Goggins style and start running pretty much forever?
Yeah, I think yeah, why not? Like there's a thing about that, which is that when you're doing physical exercise, I would always I should have added that. Thank you for reminding. I will always add health exercise. I remember way back in 1994, I joined this company in a steel company, and I had ambition and dream as a young engineer about I'll be like this and all, and I got really bored. Like pretty much all my career, that was a major thing. I used to get very bored. So I got really bored and I started feeling depressed because I was put into the night shift. And I remember one of the managers, I still remember, I don't remember his face, but he had this amazing moosh, like a solid pig. And he said, you know what? You should do exercise. And I was like, why? Like, what? What exercise? I'm feeling bad. When I feel good, then I'll do exercise. And for some reason, I remembered him so much because he was so spot on. And I did not do what he said. Because till about 44 year of age, I was a fat guy. I was like about 17 18 kg overweight, and then I lost 16 kg in 16 weeks, and I never gained it back. That's the time when I understood the power of like physical movement. And so I would tell, add something physical in your life and it will change, because it's very hard. Like you're an Iron Man, like three times Iron Man too. Like you're a much better example than an iota of what I could say. That when you do physical exercise, it's impossible to think negative thoughts. When you're running, it's impossible to think negative thoughts. It's impossible. So when you're physically strained, it's very like you have to be really, really a big sucker to think negative. So yeah.
I don't think it's impossible to think negative thoughts. We all have them, especially when you suffer for long distances, but it's just rebuilding a relationship with pain. So, on 2 degrees, right? Like one is physical, so I feel physical pain way less than when I was younger. For example, when I hit my big toe on furniture or something, I don't feel pain nowadays. When I was younger, I would make a scene, I would go on the floor and almost cry. That's one. And second, the mental aspect is just you dance with pain. You just know that it is and it will be forever. Just like in the ayahuasca ceremonies when you're vomiting your life,
Yeah.
you just know that it's for your own good. And because a lot of people, they feel the physical pain and they add on a layer of mental pain to that, and it's like a forever cycle. It's really negative cycle. And these things that just teach you to hold on and be brave, and it just like ingrain in you that pain is part of it, and pain is actually beneficial. Pain is wealth, pain is value, pain is beautiful.
100% aligned with that. 100%.
Kapil, where can people find out more about you?
Well, LinkedIn is my main platform. If they just search for my name with a H, and they'll find Kapil Kulshreshtha, Play It Full, which is also the book that I authored long back, with my wife. So that's my theme of life. So LinkedIn is the best platform. But I'm going to share a link with you where people actually can, to your listeners, where they can download a free copy of my audiobook. I would love to gift it to your audience. So I'll share a link with you on the mail that you can add to this talk.
Well, thank you so much, Kapil. So I was Charles Cormier. I'm founder of ceowisdompodcast.com. I was Kapil Kulshreshtha, and you can find him on LinkedIn under that name, and you can also go find his book. So thank you all, and see you on the next one.